I'm very proud of you guys because you guys have braved the rain, the traffic. You know, it's been a crazy week, hasn't it, right? All types of activities, but you guys have survived. You guys have made it to Friday. So I'm very happy for you. And I'm honored as well to be a part of this, ceremony, to be part of this great event, this great time in your life. And I want to share with you something that's really impacted my life. And it's funny. It started January 18, 2008. And here I was, Miami-born kid in Washington, D.C. in the middle of January, and I'm freezing my butt off. My toes, they're about to fall off. I feel like I'm going to get frostbite. But I'm weathering this cold weather, making my way out to the National Mall. Because I'm about to experience a moment I didn't know it at the time, but it's going to change my life. I was about to listen to, at that time, President-elect Barack Obama deliver a speech. Incredible moment, right? Something that you're going to tell your kids about. And what made this speech so incredible was that he was talking about another amazing man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the day before we commemorate him. And he asked America that it's important that you give, that you got to pledge yourself to be of service to your fellow man, to your fellow community, to the people around you. And what impacted me was that as I looked around National Mall, I saw people from all over. I mean, black, white, Asian, gay, handicapped. I mean, it was just amazing to see these people so enthused, so excited to receive this message, and ready to go out there and change the world through service. And when I talk about how important service is, it's not that it wasn't important before that moment. I went to high school, right? We all did our community service hours, right? It was required, and that's the reason I did it, because it was required. But my heart really, I didn't really know what it meant to give. But that day, I had a paradigm shift when I started realizing what there really is, what is to give. So that day, excited, pumped, I just was surrounded by hundreds and thousands of people listening to our president. He was going to be president, get inaugurated in 2 days. So I was excited, and I was doing an internship at the time in D.C., my first time living away from home, born and raised in Miami. I was going to be out in D.C. for 6 months. That was my second day actually in D.C., and I was there with a group that was also doing my internship program through Haku. And if you guys are interested in that program, let me know. I could give you guys some great information on that later. So I wanted to do something, right? He talked about service. I didn't know anyone. Everyone was new to me. So I went home that day. I'm like, man, what can I do? I want to give back. I got to do something. The president, he's calling for us to take action. So I did what a lot of us do when it's time to take action. I went on Facebook. And I started connecting with people that were part of this internship program, right? Because we have a group set up. And I started gathering people saying, hey, would you like to do something tomorrow? And I really didn't know what we were going to do, but I was just putting it out there. Are you on board? Do you want to do something tomorrow? Are you with me? So slowly and surely, I started getting other people excited because they saw how excited I was, and they started getting excited too. So through reaching out and making connections, I also got in touch with an alumni of that internship program, and she had a great opportunity for us. She said, hey guys, if you could get a group, I have a fire station you could go to tomorrow, and you could start collecting canned foods and money so we could donate to some of the food kitchens out in Washington, D.C. So I was like, perfect, wow, everything's falling into place. So I sent out the invite, make the phone calls. Next day, a very diverse group of interns are out there at the fire station, making signs, shouting at oncoming cars, getting in traffic, and asking for help so we could raise this money and raise these canned goods. And at the end of the day, we raised about $560. And we didn't stop there, right? Because we were like, man, we did this, and we could do so much more. So we went to Safeway, because we had to donate actual cans. We were going to use the money to buy the cans. We said, it's worth a shot. Let's talk to the manager at Safeway, and let's see what he's willing to do. So he saw how excited the group was of this accomplishment that we made, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you guys out. I'll match whatever you guys collected. And booyah. And there was the spark, right? I saw what was possible through just a couple different things that you did. You got excited, you went out there, started talking to people, and your heart was really in it. And that's when I started really discovering what it is to give. So let me talk about the first principle. I'm going to break it down so you guys can see what it is to give. First, it's about finding the good. And let me talk to you a little bit more about this. I want to share a story with you. See this golden Buddha up here? This is Bangkok's sacred golden Buddha. It's 15 feet tall. It weighs 5.5 tons. And it's worth about $190 million. Probably a lot more now since the gold skyrocketed. But back in the around the 1600s, no one knew about this golden Buddha. And the reason behind that was that it was actually covered in clay and plaster. And around that time, the reason that it was covered in clay and plaster, it's a pretty just a story that kind of breaks your heart. In Thailand, they were fighting with the Burmese, and this town, this group of monks that overlooked the Buddha in order to prevent anyone from taking it. This is something that they worshiped, that they held sacred. They covered it in plaster and clay. However, in the middle of this war, all the monks that knew that this was actually a golden Buddha were slaughtered and killed. So there laid a golden Buddha covered in clay that no one knew about until about 1955. They were getting ready to transfer, they wanted to move this clay Buddha to another temple. So in moving that clay Buddha, some of the ropes that they were using to move it cracked. The Buddha fell, and it cracked at the very bottom. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to go to hell now. We cracked the sacred Buddha. So they examined it, and they were taking a closer look, and they see this glimmer of light. And then they got curious. They're like, okay, let's chip a little bit more. It's already broken. Let's chip a little more. Let's see what's in here. And slowly they start uncovering it, and they discover this fantastic specimen. And what I like, that story, I think signifies all of us, right? Because all of us we're gold in the inside, right? We're valuable. But what happens is, throughout our lifetime, we get covered with clay. We get covered with mud. Right? People tell us, you can't do it. You're not pretty enough. You're not smart enough. You don't have what it takes. And that clay just gets put on, right? And we start to believe that. And what I challenge the people that I speak to, the people that I go and motivate and what I encourage you guys to do as leaders is to help others discover that gold that's inside of them. And you yourself have to discover the gold that's inside of you. Everyone in here is shining inside, but sometimes we do get covered with that clay. So as a leader, what are you doing around to uncover the gold that's in other people? To kind of let that light shine. Are you getting to know the people around you? Are you finding out the people that are on your team? Are you finding out their ambitions, their dreams, their hopes? Are you looking for ways to help them reach their goal? Once you do that, you start chipping away at that clay. You start chipping away at that mud. And that person really begins to shine. Because the true essence of a leader is to develop other leaders, to make other people leaders. So think about that. I think that's number one. In giving, that's exactly what we're doing, right? We're finding the good in others. We're looking for that golden essence that is part of all of us. So that's the number one. Anytime you start to think of what it really is to give, think of that number one. And another example is, when I say good, have you ever walked down a hallway and someone just gave you a compliment and it just made you smile, right? You felt good. It changed your perspective. Do that for other people. Find the good in other people and let them know. Don't keep it to yourself. Let them know. Feel free to share it. You can change that person's life or their day in an instant. And in the end, a good side effect or bonus that comes out of that is that you feel better. When I give compliments to others, naturally I feel better about myself too. So try that. Look to discover the good in other people. So that's number one. Number two is initiate. Now, before I get into this, do we have any coffee lovers in the house?
Oh.
You guys are college kids. I know you guys love coffee, right? Especially finals week. You got a test tomorrow. You got to stay up. Who likes coffee? All right. So I like Starbucks a lot, right? My favorite. So I got the Starbucks card. I was wondering if anyone wants it. Enough money to feed you coffee for the whole semester. I mean, you got plenty of coffee for the whole semester. Are you offering?
There you go.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, what's your name?
Bianca.
Bianca. Let's give her a round of applause. So see what Bianca did? She initiated, right? She did what this quote tells us. Don't wait for your ship to come in. You swim out together, right? Many times in life, we are afraid to initiate things, right? We kind of sit back and look around, who's going to go first? Who's going to do it? No, you do it. No, I did it last time. We're afraid. We're afraid to initiate it. But as leaders, you have to be the initiator. You have to be the one that gets things going. And then people are going to follow your lead. And are there any TED Talk lovers in the house? TED Talk, you guys like? Okay, I love TED Talk. If you don't know what it is, you got to Google it tonight and check out the videos. But it's awesome stuff. So one speaker talked about there was a Woodstock type event, and there was this one crazy guy that just started dancing, and everyone else was kind of quiet. They were looking at this crazy guy. What is this crazy guy doing? So a couple seconds later, another guy joins that one guy. So now there's two crazy guys dancing, right? Everyone's looking around, but before you know it, the third guy came, and the fourth guy came. And before, all this crowd that was sitting quiet, just listening to the music, was now dancing along with these crazy people that started it. And what happened is that it changed the whole feel of that day, right? Everyone was excited. They were more into the music. They were enjoying that moment. So as a leader, you have to initiate, right? You can't be afraid. Sometimes it is you're putting yourself out there. You could get hurt, right? People might think you're weird, but who cares? You got to initiate, especially if you're going after something that you love and something that's for the benefit of your group and for other people. Don't be afraid to initiate it. You got to get it started. So that's number two. Number three, any active volunteers? I think everyone should be raising their hand, right? Because Alpha Kappa Psi is about volunteering. How many of you guys are getting paid to be here tonight? None, right? So you guys are volunteering. You guys are taking part in this organization. You're giving up your time. You're giving up, sometimes sleep and other things that you could be doing because you're volunteering to be here today. And a lot of the leaders, a lot of the executive board of Alpha Kappa Psi volunteers, they put a lot of hours into these events. They put a lot of time into this entire week, planning it for all you guys. So we need volunteers. As a leader, you're a volunteer. And volunteering could change your life. One of the things that has changed my life has been volunteering. I started, about 2 years ago, I started a Feed the Homeless program at the Broward Outreach Center for people our age. We would go, and every first and third Saturday of the month, we would cook meals. We would go out there and feed it to the homeless. And it started growing, right? It went from 5 people coming to volunteer to now 30 people that come regularly to volunteer. And some of these people that come, they're CEOs of companies, owners, chief marketing officers, and they're out there rubbing shoulders with me. We're making meals together. We're serving together. So in the volunteering process, you're going to find that you're going to get so much benefit. Even though you're giving up something and you're probably not getting paid to do this, you're going to be getting paid some way or the other. Think about it. And this is going to be more true as you get into your career. The boss says, who wants to take on this assignment? And this assignment might be difficult. It might be something that nobody wants to do. I guarantee you, if you volunteer and you're the first one to volunteer every time for those special projects, you're going to be adding so much more value to your career and to your person. So think about it. Volunteering, you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to say, yes, I'll do it. Be the first one to raise your hand. I'll do it. And in class, you have opportunities to do this every single day. The professor asks, Okay, who wants to be the first one to go? Right? Don't be afraid. Say, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. Put yourself out there. Embrace that moment. Enjoy that moment. As a leader for Alpha Kappa Psi, whatever your job is, whatever your task is, you are a volunteer. And that's an important part of giving, because a lot of opportunities that we have to give are not given. You're not getting paid for that. So don't be afraid. You got to volunteer. That's part of giving. Volunteer. So who wants to recap? What do we have so far? We have good, right? We have initiate, great, and we have volunteer. Okay. And also, when you volunteer, try to get others to volunteer as well. And you're more powerful with other people. Let me give you an example. What's your name? Giancarlo, come up. Come up really quick. Okay, this is my business card. I want you to rip it in half. What'd you do, man? How dare you disrespect me like that? Okay. All right, so I got a stacker. I want you to rip the stacker now.
I can't.
Right? A lot more difficult, right? You probably can't even do it.
Yeah, science.
So. Yes. What I'm trying to say is that when you're volunteering as a group, you can do a lot more than you can by yourself. Sometimes you go by yourself to volunteer, you get ripped in half. Okay. All right, so let's wrap up. We got one more, enthusiasm. Oh my God, this is so big, right? When you do something, do it like you want to do it, right? Otherwise, don't bother. And you can tell people who fake enthusiasm too, right? They go, yeah, I'm so happy. And they're not. People see right through that. It's just, don't bother. And in volunteering, it's kind of difficult, right? Because imagine you got to get up this weekend, you got to go clean the beach. I mean, some people might enjoy that. I'd rather stay in bed and not do it. That's not my type of volunteer event. So part of what you need to do as a leader is find out what you like. Find out what you flourish in. Some people do volunteering at an animal shelter because they really love animals. They want to be around animals. They don't mind being there a couple hours helping out. Some people want to feed the homeless. That's what I love to do. Connect with other people, have conversations, have food, have a great time. And you just got to find out what you're good at, what do you enjoy, what can you do with enthusiasm and with lots of energy so people could capture that and could see that. And enthusiasm is contagious. If someone's really enthusiastic about volunteering, it's easy to get other people to come along with you on the journey. Kind of like the story of when I went to DC and got a couple of people to come out, and then that very next day, within hours, we got a lot of people to come out to help out with our event. So have that enthusiasm. Enjoy what you do. And if you don't enjoy what you do, try to do something else that you enjoy. Because what you enjoy to do, you're going to do really well. You're going to succeed at it, and you're going to make Alpha Kappa Psi and the people that are helping you out really proud. So to recap, what is it to give? What does it really mean to give? It means to find the good in other people. Now, I want to hear you guys. Find the good in other people.
Find the good in other people.
Great. You got to initiate. You got to get going.
Initiate.
You gotta get going.
You got to volunteer. Help out.
You gotta volunteer. You gotta help out.
Okay. Now you got to do it with enthusiasm. All right. Enthusiasm. Do it.
Enthusiasm. Do it.
Awesome. So that's what it is to give. So I'm so happy. Thank you very guys for your time.